Hello everybody. Today I was working on the tarot videos for September, but the light outside was getting quite dark, so I decided I'm going to drop those till tomorrow. But don't worry, tomorrow I'll do the rest of them. And for now, to kind of make at least something for you, I decided to make a video about a topic I was kind of thinking about for a long period of time, and I feel very inspired to talk about it. And that's about dealing with pain. Tonight I'm here at home alone, which is somewhere out, so I'm not restrained to talk. So pain and how to deal with pain. I've seen loads of videos, and actually if you go online on YouTube, there are so many videos from spiritual perspective, from religious perspective, from psychological perspective, all the freaking different perspectives, how to deal with emotional pain, how to deal with anxieties, how to deal if you're feeling hurt, and other stuff around. I think I've seen actually, if not all of them, that I think at least most of them in my life. I think that even though I actually have seen them all, at the end of the day, I think some of them helped a little, because then you have like some sort of like theoretical understanding. So from spiritual perspective, okay, I feel pain, but this is just universal lesson and I need to embrace, surrender, blah blah blah, and then just let the emotion be with the emotion, let the emotion go, and then it will just go away. From religious perspective, I'm being tested by God. Insert your favorite God's name. And this is maybe the test of my strength, of my faith for that ghost, for that God, or is it me being tested, or just me finding my strength, something like that. From psychological perspective, it's basically purely brain reaction of my conscious, subconscious, unconscious to given circumstances that are somehow contradicting my feelings or perspective about the world that are based on my past experience. That's quite a dry explanation, but fair enough. So there are all many different solutions. Also, you know, and explanations. I believe also medical one, when they cause you, okay, so this hormone and those, I don't know, brain parts are causing you this physical reaction of anxiety that your body would react to if you would be a real danger, like if you saw, you know, a tiger somewhere in a bush, so your body is reacting to it the same way because it feels danger. So again, there are so many different explanations for how we feel pain and how to deal with it, and I think there's like a million different recipes. But actually, I've seen quite a few of them, and I don't think any of them actually work, and I'm wondering actually why. And I know like spirituality and other things can explain things, can make you understand things better, but does not necessarily have to save you from that experience, doesn't have to like save you from feeling pain and kind of not knowing how to deal with it. It's like studying really and understanding how brain surgery works perfectly in theory, and you know all the stuff about how spiritually you should embrace that crap and that crap, but then if you actually go in the situation, actually, if you are the surgeon actually in the situation and you're holding the knife and there is somebody's brain just in front of you, you're like, oh, so now we are in a completely different situation. I guess the grey is the theory and green is the tree of practice. In this case, it's not really that much green, but I guess you know what I mean. So emotional pain, heartbreaks, feelings of betrayal, anything that's basically causing us anxiety. The one thing I actually found out about it is that nobody is immune to that. And I actually always kind of thought that, and I guess if you're in a moment when you are in pain, emotional pain of some sort, you kind of think you are on your own in it, and you are basically the only person in this world who's depressed. and you're the only person in this world who feel anxieties. And it's very hard to kind of transcend this idea you are the only person, because your pain is so strong that in this moment you're the only one. This is basically the only thing you can see in this moment. But from my experience, it's not true, because, you know, when I've been in pain and I actually started talking to my friends, and first they tried to consult me, but then we started to talk a bit more about what's the situation of the other person, and I actually found out they're trying to help me, they are trying to make me feel better, but there is something else in their life that actually caused pain to them too. So technically speaking, we are all in pain of some sort. Well, I guess not all of us, but I guess there's always some sort of something. And I actually, from my experience, even the people I would, you know, from materialistic point of view, I would consider being very privileged. Let's say people who have great families, they have great husband or wife, they have money, and everything is in their life is abundant. Sorry, quite nice. And I do have friends who actually have life like that. They have a husband, they have basically everything, you know, on paper, everything is absolutely perfect and everything is fine. But then I can see them stressed out completely, like really, really stressed out, because I don't know, I think it was actually, tiles in the bathroom was just done wrongly, and they have wrong color and it doesn't match some sort of something else in the bathroom, and it was like complete stress, anxiety inducing situation, because the builders they just haven't done the work properly, and the tiles was some maybe different color than they were supposed to be, something like that. Something that I would say, you know, don't judge. Something that most people, including myself, would consider something that's not that major, but apparently for that person it felt very real. It might not feel real for most of us, but for that particular person it felt completely real. It was a massive issue. So I guess the scale of the things that are causing pain are very much customized to everybody else. You know, there are things that kind of causing a pain to everybody, like heartbreak, betrayal, cheating, but then the rest of it, I think, is very much up to everybody's experience, and I think nobody's immune to that. I think everybody's having some sort of pain and stress. It's just the things that causes it might be different, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how privileged or non-privileged are you, you are not immune to that. Unless, I guess, even if you completely go into some sort of like a unrealistic Zen type of a mode. But even, you know, look at Dalai Lama, and don't get me wrong, I like Dalai Lama. I'm not entirely fond of the whole Buddhism idea. I like some of it, not all of it. But even Dalai Lama, and I know you won't like this, especially if you like Dalai Lama, which, but you know what, I actually have seen him talking a few times and everything like that. And he was very calm, he was very happy, that's everything. I understand that he's very enlightened, he's extremely smart and kind person, I can tell straight away. But also, if you actually look deep into his eyes, there is massive pain, and I kind of understand it because of this Tibet-China situation. Shame on you, China, literally, seriously. But by the way, why China want Tibet that badly? It's nothing. It's just a few churches in the mountains. It's like nothing in it. Why you want it that badly? By the way, that's okay. That's basically I kept astray a bit. I just don't understand that. Why people are making wars about the most hostile places on earth. It's like, it seems like whenever there is some sort of like a nation is seeing a piece of a land that's bare, it's desert, or it's just some sort of like mountains and there's nothing interesting in it, they just decided to have a war and everybody wants that place. So why? This place is the most wars for lands that are absolutely hideous. There's nothing in it. It's like, why? Tibet is beautiful, got mountains, few churches and stuff like that, but there is no that. Why? Whatever. If I would make a war, I would at least make it for a place that's freaking worth it. Like, I don't know. France is beautiful. If you want to find about some land, at least Italy is pretty too. You know, they have mountains, they have sea, there's some beautiful cities. I don't know, find for Italy or France or, I don't know, Texas. Some place that actually is worth fighting for if you want to fight that badly. So, anyway. Okay, so pain. So I believe nobody's immune to that. I've seen it even in Dalai Lama, who should be the person who's the most elevated about all of the pain. And he's smiling, he's laughing, but have a look deeply into his eyes if you see him in person or somewhere else on video. He has a ridiculous amount of pain in his eyes, and I can tell straight away. And it's so obvious that he is in pain. So not even him, the most enlightened and person, is immune to such experience, which is obviously, you know, it's understandable in his position, but still. So what we kind of do with it and how to deal with it, except the fact that now we know nobody's really immune to that, is I kind of understand that from universal perspective, the universe itself is neutral. It's both is good and bad. It's basically the light side as well as the dark side. So this universe itself doesn't have emotion. It's just is. It's just everything there is. It's universe. Everything there is some sort of like a result of a mental universe. Then, from universal perspective, it doesn't understand the concept of a pain bad and a joy good. It possibly does, but for it, it's just the two sides of the same coin. Without one side of the coin, there would be the other side of the coin. If you don't have cold, then you can't have hot. If you don't have hot, you can't have cold. So if you don't have pain, then you can't really have joy, because the joy would not exist. So how would you define it if there wouldn't be something you can define it against? Let's say I have some sort of a feeling right now, but I can't define it, because for me it's hard to define it like something against. It's easier, especially with the strong emotions, to kind of be able to define them and understand them better. So I believe that pain, unfortunately, is important experience in our life, and usually it's trying to tell us something. I believe that the painful experiences are trying to tell us, if not anything else, then they are trying to tell us, hey, try to raise above your material world experience, try to raise above this whole world that's around you. We rarely do have those feelings when we are happy. I think when we are happy, we naturally feel uplifted. But let's say if something in your real life, like, you know, you have a baby or you bought a new dog, it makes you happy, but it's more something that kind of keeps you, I would say, maybe stuck in the everyday world around you, because there are the things that makes you happy, so you kind of I guess concentrate yourself on them. But if your situation is painful, let's say maybe the dog died or something like that happened and you feel tremendous pain, then you are more, I would say, pushed to kind of raise yourself above the everyday experience and maybe see something beyond that you wouldn't in otherwise. I believe happiness is a sign that we are doing something good, but I believe in the same hand, pain is something that's pointing to growth, something that can be changed, something that can be adjusted. And even from my own experience, I rarely do want to change things unless I'm kind of pushed in changing them, usually by pain and emotional experience. So there was a good chance I would just, I was not happy in my past job before I left it. And I would kind of just being there, and I'm thinking, I was not happy, I was like, but then the pain was kind of growing and growing and growing to the moment it snapped. And if I wouldn't be feeling pain, even though I was like, yeah, but then I possibly would not leave that job, and I possibly would not do anything, something else. I was doing photography for about 5-6 years, and it just wasn't something that would make me happy. It was just something I would not find fulfilling. And the pain I felt from me trying to bang my head against the wall with photography, it was an amazing amount of pain, because my pictures were good, but I just didn't understand why it wasn't working. Well, I was always doing work for free, and everybody was always happy with my pictures, but it didn't kind of work out very well for me and for other people either. And I felt tremendous amount of pain. I was frustrated, I was angry, I was anxious for such a long period of time, but I did not want to drop it. And don't ask me why, I'm not entirely sure. I think I was scared because I was thinking, okay, this is something I studied. It was something, if I won't do photography, there is nothing else I can do. But then actually when I finally dropped this idea that I want to do photography, then I actually realized, hey, you've been actually doing tarot since you've been 7, and since you've been, I don't know, like 8 or 10 or 12, people will come to you for advice. So maybe, maybe actually it's not true that there's nothing you can do. But if I wouldn't be in such amazing amount of pain because my photography business wasn't working, I would not possibly go and drop it and go and pursue something else. Because I was so afraid of losing some sort of stability, I guess. I was so afraid of losing something I was thinking that is the only thing I can do. So again, I guess some sort of like stability, maybe lack of self-confidence. And only in the moment when basically the pain from the situation was bigger than my fear of non-stability or lack of direction, that was the moment when I actually switched. So even though at the time it was extremely unpleasant and I didn't like it at all, if I actually look at it now, then I think it was actually, a great decision. And it brought something better, much better into my life than I had before. So I think that's one of the problems with, I would say, painful experiences, because it's so hard to judge their actual result or their actual reason or whatever, the reason why they're happening, if you are kind of in the middle of the situation. But I think it's actually much easier to judge it if you actually step back and maybe from, I don't know, half a year time, maybe 5 years time, maybe 16 years time, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe this is that was the lesson that was supposed to, that I was supposed to see and that I was supposed to learn. Let's say for one of my friends who was so obsessed with the wrong colors of the towels in the bathroom, I believe the painful lesson and stressful lesson was that she just should raise herself above this material nonsense or experience. She couldn't see that at that time, but I believe that was what I think what that was about. Just basically, shake her, say you can't really be so stressed about those things, so you need to, raise above it and kind of maybe have a look at different things. So technically speaking, for her, that experience might be very helpful, because she might just got into the point when she's sitting and thinking, I'm not going to worry about towels in my bathroom anymore. It caused me so much pain, it caused me so much stress, and I will just won't care anymore, and then I just will stop, and then I will go and pursue deeper things. So the pain would have its own reason, even though for most people this pain won't feel serious. But I believe it doesn't matter how big the pain is, doesn't matter what cause it is, it always is for that particular person serious, and for that particular person it's just that what it is. So I know, especially let's say for me, well, to be completely honest, I still live in Europe. I live in London, and I'm white, and I'm young, and I'm more or less healthy. So the amount of pain I experience in my daily life must look absolutely ridiculously meaningless to somebody who is living in a different parts of the world and did not being privileged with the best start or best consequences. I'm sorry, the best circumstances of his or her birth. You know, you might be born somewhere in the places that, you know, there is a hunger, there's not enough food. You might be born in the middle of a war of some sort. You might be a refugee, you know, with your family on the boat. So there is a large range of very bad experiences on this planet that you might get. But for me, let's say my current pain looks very real, even though I know if I consider that the amount of pain and troubles, the people that are, you know, maybe the refugees on the boats, or people who are now in the middle of a war, or people who are losing their kids and stuff like that. For obviously my pain I'm experiencing, let's say, right now, might feel ridiculous. They would be just tapping on it, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" But again, it's, you know, if you are in pain, then that's basically what you can see. You can't really see you're not alone in it, and possibly the rest of the humanity suffers with you in one way or another. So okay, so how to deal with pain? My first advice, actually, I actually do have an advice, so I'm not just rumbling. I would say have a look, even though when the situation is painful, have a look what the lesson is. Have a look what you can actually get out of it, if there is anything you can get out of it. If it just should be the reason that you're happy that you're alive, if this is how the situation is actually extreme, there is always something in your life. There's always something. And I think that's a good thing about universe. It very rarely, if never, takes everything away from you. It just doesn't. If it takes something away from you and it causes you pain in one way, it always shows you something else on the other side. Always. So look what's the message. Look, if there is this thing that's causing me pain, look what's, you know, just turn around and have a look what's there. And then just have a look. And go for the things that the universe is giving you, and try to not concentrate on the things that the universe is taking away. Because if there's nothing you can do about it, then there is nothing you can do about it. I'm rarely quoting any some sort of religious books, but there is one. Frankly, I have no idea if it's from Bible or if it's a part of a prayer of some sort. But I've had it from my friend who is Catholic priest. Yes, I do have a friend, Catholic priests. And he said that, "Please, Lord, give me strength to do and change situations where I can do something about them. Please, Lord, give me strength to surrender to things there is nothing I can do about. And please, Lord, give me wisdom so I can tell the difference between those two." So this is actually one of the best pieces of advice I ever received. There are things in your life that just better to let go, and there are things that is just worth to do something about them. So I would say it's like basically in tarot, this is what the Five of Cups is about. It's about feeling grief about something that's lost and not seeing something that you have just behind you. There's something actually you can do, something you can concentrate, and something you can build. So I would say one of the best ways how to deal with pain is actually try to move that focus to something you can create. Because I think that even helps you to kind of raise your vibrations, because from vibration of some sort of like damage or grief, you're slowly getting yourself on the vibration of somebody who's creating, somebody who's abundant, somebody who is making things happen. So I believe in the long term that should actually help to kind of manifest better things in your life and maybe less painful situations in your life. I also noticed, that's my second advice, or just upping observation, that shit actually does comes in waves. I still don't entirely understand why, but it seems like things are going well and they're going well, and at some point they might just going wrong, and everything is going wrong, and just things going well, and it's like when shit is happening, it seems like loads of it is happening, and then just when things are good, things just seems to be kind of fairly good. Might be vibrations again, really. Might be that when you actually start, when things are going well, and then some sort of like even minor unpleasant things are going on, then we just start to panic, and the drop in our vibration is kind of creating even more negative situations, and the more negative we feel, the more we are manifesting and pushing, and then we hit the rock bottom, and then we start to bounce back. It's possible. Let me know in the comment section below what you actually think about this theory. I'm just saying, I'm just thinking, I'm just considering options and trying to understand the universal laws and the principles. So, yeah, I would say, try to concentrate on things that you can control also, not the things you can't control. I think even for your own self-esteem, it's better to kind of, okay, if this is something I can do about the situation, I'll do it immediately. And if it's something I can't do anything, I just can walk away. Because I think even with the pain is not taking our freedom away. And that situation, not all of them, but in I think great deal of situations when people are actually feeling pain, they can walk away from the situation easily, or more easily than they think they can. I think in pain, it's really like, like a raging bull when you kind of hit it with a spear, then it's just in pain and can't see the direction where it's heading. And I think if you're in pain, it's actually hard to see the direction, what would be the best, what would be most sensible, what would be the most beneficial one. So my other advice is to kind of maybe try just to calm down a little bit. Actually, from me, physical detachment from the situation helped a lot. When I'm actually physically moving away from the situation. So if the situation is happening in one city, I actually move myself to another city, even just for vacation or just go and visit my friends. Actually, physical change of scenery actually always helped for me. I guess that was the reason why I moved so much in my life. But it actually does help. So changing the scenery a bit, it seems like if you change the place, the emotions kind of change a bit too, and usually they calm down a bit, giving the fact that you're actually moving into the scenery that's more serene than the one you're moving from. So I would say try to move to the most calm, peaceful, and stable environment as you can. I guess if you're in pain, going back to your home when your parents or your family is arguing all the time, it's not the best place to go. I've tried that, it doesn't really work very well. So more like some sort of like a cheerful, happy environment, at least for some time, to kind of change the emotions a bit. Helped actually for me to see the things more clearly in the situations when I just couldn't be gathered because I was in pain. Not always this physical detachment is possible, but I think in loads of cases it actually is, even though it might come with some, some of us just can't go and leave for, I don't know, a week because maybe they have families and there's things around and they just can't leave them for a week and say, hey, bye, I'm just, leaving all of you here, you starve to death and I'm, leaving. But I actually think it's more possible than most people think, at least maybe not for a week, but let's say for a weekend. Especially, let's say if you have family, you think, oh, I can't be so selfish, maybe then, I need to take care of them. But in this case, I do believe that actually if you have people around you that are kind of taking care of you, and it's like, even if it's family, boyfriend, or anybody around, or even if you're alone, always somebody around. So if you're actually in pain or you feel very stressed about something, then it's actually very hard to take care of somebody. I think actually in my work, in terms of that, the way, because you're caring about other people, you are kind of finding some sort of like a quick fix, and you're kind of moving your focus away from caring about yourself and caring about others, which might help actually, you know, because it's the same thing, but like the physical detachment when you're moving from one place to another. So you're basically kind of moving from one emotion to another, and instead of being in pain, you're moving to, you know, switching your focus to other people, and it might help. So if that helps, that's great, and something definitely you should do. But I think in some cases it's just not helping, because it's kind of like just might be just, you know, quick fix, and just basically just suppress the situation. Suppress the situation is the stress and the pain might be coming back. So I think if that's the case, like it literally is coming back, even let's say you're moving focus on other projects and other things, then I think, or I believe, it points to some sort of something within you that just needs to be healed. That just something that needs to be put back together, and something that needs to be balanced out. And it's so, let's say, persistent stress. I met quite a few people who've been just stressed for years, possibly about the same thing, and then they're kind of looking for different solutions for the situation. Not to give any particular examples, let's say from my family, but I'm just not going to give any names. So let's say somebody in my family, I know it's extremely unhappy over a long period of time. But the way how basically this person deals with it is kind of finding a series of quick fixes. Either if it's being fixed on the idea, let's say, about having a child, or being fixed on the idea of having a cottage, and also thinking, if I do this thing, that will sort this out, that will sort my stress, that will sort my unhappiness. But actually, if this person actually is getting those things, it does not work. The stress is not going away. The pain is not going away. The pain is there for years and years and years and years, and the stress is there for years and years and years. So if you might be finding yourself in a similar situation, then I can see that the solution is not by externalizing the solution for the pain, but unfortunately looking at the place where the pain is based, and that's kind of more within you, and looking, actually trying to understand what is it in this case, what that's trying to tell you. You know, it's like the pain, you know, it's law of correspondence. So if you feel physically pain, let's say, you know, this hurts. So possibly if this hurts, I look at it means it needs more attention. I mean, it needs my attention. It either needs me to put some bandage on it, or it needs me to take it to the doctors. Maybe it's broken, but somewhere when I feel pain in my physical body, it means something needs attention. And if you feel emotional pain, that means, okay, something in your life, possibly something deep within you, needs attention. Especially when there's this like long-term pain and stress that you're feeling over a longer period of time, and it seems like nothing you do on outside is changing it, then there's some sort of like attention needed. And I know actually people maybe have tendencies to kind of avoid it, because then they would have to look in the place when there is the most of the pain. Actually, they would have to look at the cause of it, and that's something that's within you. So that's, you know, that's actually facing the pain in that sense, and actually trying to understand what is the pain is trying to tell me. What is it that needs my attention? Is it broken? Is it just shaken? Is it just a bruise? Do I need to take it to doctor? Do I need to do that with it? What I need to do with it? But I think actually just sitting there and actually looking at it and thinking what I have to do with it, which is something you would do if you would have physical pain in your body, is, you know, its solution is something you can do, and something that can help you to get valuable lesson and maybe valuable change in your life that wouldn't happen. That's basically something I was talking about in the beginning. So I think the pain can manifest in your life many different ways. It can be ongoing for a long period of time. It can be just one situation. And I believe it's always trying to tell us something. And I also believe in one way the pain is just undeniable experience in our life. It's something that to a certain extent we can minimize, but I think we can never completely avoid it. And frankly, I'm not sure even if I would want to avoid it, because as I said in the video previously, the amount of pain and frustration I felt about my photography career made me change it. It's something I possibly maybe would not do otherwise. So pain can occasionally be good and can make us do things that we wouldn't do otherwise. So that's something I would like to end my ramble with. I'm not sure if I offered any actual solutions, but I was trying to, in my advice, and maybe share my experience with my own pain and with the pain with people around me. Please feel please feel free to share your experience in your comments in the section below. Maybe we can start some discussions about your experience, how you're dealing with pain. You know, it might help other people who might be in a similar situation. So I would like to kind of like start discussion and see what's your experience and how you deal with it. Maybe some tips and tricks that you have. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry for the quality of the video. It's quite like later in the evening. Just basically decided to use the time when Lucius is out in a cafe to kind of rumble to computer. And yeah, again, let me know, and I will be overwatching the discussion section and will be replying to your comments. Thank you for watching.